At the engagement ceremony, the wealthy businessman did not want his fiance's feet to get dirty, so he used a jar of gold to pave the way for her. He promised to love her for the rest of his life. But when she heard that Anna was going to call off the engagement, he lost his mind. After that night, Anna became pregnant. Fearing that the wealthy businessman would take the child away, she hid in a secret room arranged by her father. That day, her father called her in a hurry to tell her that the wealthy businessman had discovered she was pregnant. He told her to flee with her mother and seek protection at the embassy. Then he called a man named David, who would protect them. The mother and daughter hurriedly packed their bags. Just then, a servant reported that the wealthy merchant was already at the door. He was determined to take the child today. Because the child was the sole heir of the family, he was willing to accept any cost. Suddenly, the merchant's henchmen burst in and raised their weapons at Anna's mother. Fortunately, the servants intervened in time. Anna, with her swollen belly, struggled to leave with her mother through the back door. They heard gunfire behind them and knew that the servants at home had been sacrificed. Kind-hearted Anna wanted to go back to check, but her mother stopped her. As they passed by a small shop, she accidentally learned from the news that her father had been killed by the wealthy merchant. She broke down on the spot. Just then, her water broke. Her mother noticed something was wrong and helped her to an abandoned warehouse to give birth. She finally gave birth to a son. Anna swore to protect him for the rest of her life and named him after her father. In the dead of night, the mother and daughter carried the baby and continued their escape. By dawn, they had walked to the embassy. Anna couldn't wait to call David, but he was about to get married. He was shocked to hear that Anna's father had died because he had been kidnapped and Anna's father had saved him. At that time, he had sworn on his honor that if he ever faced danger, he would risk his life to repay the favor. At that time, Anna was still a girl, but she had already fallen in love with Anna. She had secretly promised her mother that she would marry him when she grew up, and she had stolen his watch as a keepsake. Upon learning of Anna's family's situation, he disregarded his relatives' objections and insisted on taking a private helicopter to rescue them. Soon, David arrived by car and found that the wealthy businessman and his men had already surrounded the embassy tightly. But they dared not act rashly. David's arrival naturally aroused the businessman's suspicion. He showed his passport, claiming he had come to discuss business, and was thus allowed to pass. David hurriedly ascended to the second floor and immediately recognized Anna. A complex mix of emotions welled up in both of them. Anna rushed into David's arms. He was the only man who could save her. She explained that her father had originally sent her to intentionally get close to the wealthy businessman to uncover his secrets. Later, fearing she might be harmed, he had called off the engagement. That was why the current situation had arisen. The embassy advised her to secure legal status for her son as soon as possible to ensure his protection. The only option now was to marry David. David was torn. On one hand, his fiancée was waiting for him at home. On the other hand, there was the vow he had made years ago. In the end, David proposed to Anna. The two signed their names on the marriage certificate right there. Their lives were now forever intertwined.